It's Thursday, so welcome back to our Leaders in Customer Loyalty series. This is the Brand Stories edition. It's great to have you with us every Thursday. A local wings restaurant is attempting to disrupt the Cincinnati restaurant market by challenging the larger competitors through a deep integration within our community. Rather than relying solely on scale or national appeal, the brand's focus on its local roots, emphasizing how important it is to understand what resonates with Cincinnati specifically. What's relevant to this city may differ greatly from what matters in other markets. By aligning with local sports teams, tapping into community passion points, and creating and embracing the uniqueness of the Cincinnati market, the restaurant creates a tailored experience that stands out. This approach allows the brand to customize its locations, store footprints, and overall presence to reflect the character of the city, differentiating not only the wings, but also the entire brand experience. In this episode, we'll hear from Dan Sweatt. He's a senior marketing manager at Wings and Rings. Dan, how are you today? Thank you very much for taking the time to join us.
I'm doing really well, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Doing great to have you. First off, for those who may not be familiar, and there are probably going to be a few people, can you tell us a little bit more about Wings and Rings? So guys, what you guys do, how you do it? It'd be good to know.
Yeah. So Wings and Rings is a sports bar franchise concept. Was started 41 years ago in Cincinnati, Ohio. Has grown exponentially over the years. Focus on providing what we like to think of as like sort of a suite level experience. Some of our competitors really, focus on sort of the fun party environment of sports, and we think you have fun at Wings and Rings too. But we think we serve a higher quality food product, provide a cleaner, more family-friendly environment for a lot of our guests. We've grown, like I said, over the years past the friendly confines of Cincinnati. We have restaurants all throughout the tri-state area of Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky. We also have a big hub of restaurants in southern Texas. We also have restaurants in California, Nebraska, Florida, the Dakotas. So we're sort of peppered all over the country with 85 total locations, about 60 of which are in the US and about 25 internationally.
Okay, excellent. I actually worked at Wings and Rings when I was in grad school. I think I
Oh, really?
told
Oh,
you
that's
that.
awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's on the other side of Cincinnati, but great experience. In a small little boutique place, but it was good. It was great to work with. Then I actually worked at PW3s in grad school as well. When I kind of moved over with my wife, so I think I've hit a couple of different Wings and Rings things, bartending both
Oh,
of those. It was fun.
oh, fantastic. You've had the full Wings experience
I
in your
have
life
for
then.
sure,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. So Cincinnati's kind of unique, right? In regard to the chili, the Gold Star chili, the Skyline chili. There's some uniques, the kind of the hometown teams, hometown favorites. I think that's what they call it.
Yeah.
What's led to the great success of Wings and Rings?
Well, I mean, you mentioned, a lot of the local sort of specialties of Cincinnati, and Cincinnati really is a town that is very communal, very neighborhoody. They People here really like to support, the businesses and restaurants around where they grew up. I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with it, but it's not where you're from in Cincinnati. It's what high school did you go to? In fact, you asked me that question right before we started, and that's how
Yeah.
people in Cincinnati greet each other, because we all know the neighborhoods and the towns. That's just an easier demarcation, right? So locality is such a huge part here. The fact that we started here, we're authentically a Cincinnati brand, that we celebrate Cincinnati. We work with the local sports teams, we work with so many of the local high schools. Yeah, I don't think any restaurant brand can really be successful without forming a connection with the local community around them, and that's been a huge part of our success. And luckily, we're rooted in a place where that really, really matters. Cincinnati, I think, more than most other cities, really respond to locally run businesses and businesses that get what the city's up to.
Yeah, that's why I was going to kind of hint at it. It is very locally focused, right? And some of your competitive entities that were in here in Cincinnati kind of made a strong presence are kind of retrenching a little bit. And obviously you guys have a great product, but I think kind of having that home turf advantage in Cincinnati can be a pretty good thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we know what's happening in the city. We know not just what local events are going on, but we know what sort of what the government's up to. We know where the road construction is. We know those little sort of helpful things that help us make strategic decisions, help us make adjustments for our franchisees, give them the tools they need to respond faster than I think our competitors do, whose headquarters are, other places. We get the city. It helps.
100%. Well, that's great. Can you tell us a little bit more about your role at Wings and Rings? What you do, how you do on a daily basis, and maybe was there a job before that got you into this customer loyalty arena?
Yeah, so I'm our senior marketing manager. I oversee local store marketing throughout the country. I've been working in marketing for most of my professional life, but have been in areas outside of restaurants for a good chunk of that. But I've always been a huge foodie, always loved restaurant culture, has always been sort of a dream of mine to work in restaurants. Um, a few years ago, I was living in Arizona and worked with a company called FranceSmart for a year and sort of got a crash course in franchising. At that company, it's a franchise incubator. So I worked with a lot of growing, really young franchise concepts. On the B2B side, I was
Right.
marketing to potential franchisees these concepts. But what in terms of loyalty, what really helped me was I was helping all of those companies grow to make themselves appealing to potential franchisees. And that includes having a robust loyalty program. All those things that make you attractive to a customer are also what make you attractive to a potential franchisee. So I was working with these young business owners and helping them grow those programs. And then just instead of marketing them to customers, marketing them to potential investors. I started with Wings and Rings 2 years and change ago, September of
Okay.
2023. I moved back to Cincinnati and took the job here, really thrive working with our franchisees and helping them connect to those communities. Like I said, I think that that's an essential part of the restaurant business, and a lot of that has to do with helping them grow their loyalty programs. As I'm sure loyalty members spend more and come more frequently, and that is a precious commodity. So the more we can grow our loyalty program, and we think we have a great one, the better it is for franchisees. So just giving them all the tools that they can have in their tool bag to use, and showing them why it's important is a big part of my job.
That's often, and we have a brand community. We meet quite often with the brands once a week, sometimes twice a week. We have different brand-led sessions, and understanding what the franchisees know about the customer loyalty program is very important. We did a state of customer loyalty report this year. We do it every year, and kind of operationalizing the customer loyalty program and getting alignment within the organization is very important this year because of some of the economic headwinds. And it sounds like you guys are doing that well because the franchisees can either be an advocate or they can be a detractor depending on how much they know and are engaged in the program. Correct?
100%. It's imperative that they are as familiar with that as possible. And one of the things we've done a lot over the last year is not just work with our franchisees, but work with our FBC team that work directly with our franchisees on the operations side to make sure that they're also as up to date on our loyalty program as possible, since they're the ones that are sort of in the stores, more frequently, sort of on the front lines of operations work. If they can also help sing that marketing song while they're there visiting, it's an extra set of hands and eyes and ears in the restaurant to help our franchisees along.
Excellent. So when you look at
Yeah.
your role in charge of local marketing, a big market like Cincinnati, what kind of keeps you up at night? What's the biggest challenge you face or you see in your role?
Well, I mean, think the restaurant industry in general is always looking for traffic, right? Helping my franchisees drive traffic is really the name of the game. From the entire marketing team is always focused on that. My role, like I said, is focused on local store marketing. So it's how can I make it as easy as possible for our franchisees to connect to the community, to speak to the community, a lot of times what that is um, uh, helping our franchisees understand that there's not a single magic bullet that you can shoot that's going to take care of everything. It's a lot of little wins. Marketing, especially local store marketing, is
Yeah.
small wins compounded over time, right? And that's hard, especially for most franchisees. I think consider themselves business people first, definitely not marketers first. We have a lot of franchisees that run excellent operations, phenomenal customer service. All the wings are cut to spec. You could eat off the floor, but they don't ever get out in the community, and they rely on people coming in and having a good experience and word of mouth marketing, which is important. You want, obviously the operations need to be solid, but they don't know how to do those things. And that's my job, is to educate them and provide them with as many sort of out of the box, really easy to use tools to get them connected to the community. So that's what really keeps me up at night, is how can I make things as simple for our franchisees as possible to get them out of their comfort zone and into the community around them.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that the organizations that do well, that kind of help the franchisee do what they want to do, right, and do what they're good at, because not everyone is a good marketer. I think marketing is way more difficult than people think it is. Everyone wants to be a marketer. Everyone wants to be strategic. So many people are not, but that's a whole different discussion. But helping
Yeah.
them do what they love and do what they do well, I think is paramount to success. I actually had an interview last week with another restaurant brand in the South called Nukes. They're a small location, 100 different locations. And he talked about one of the things that, he mentioned, I think it's very interesting. Where does hospitality begin? And I think that's an interesting question for you because, where does it begin? But also, when you look at some things you're doing to help that franchisee do what he can do best, you really help, depending on where they're engaging with that brand, you really help them shine, correct?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that that's a great point. Hospitality doesn't begin when somebody steps up to the host stand, right? It's how you talk to them, how you engage with them to get them into the community. From a local store marketing standpoint, we are constantly encouraging our franchisees to meet people out in the world. So those local parades, your festivals, carnivals, you're from Cincinnati, those church festivals in the summer are everywhere, right? Like, get out and meet the people there. And that's where hospitality starts. It can also start on social media, right? How you're communicating in your community on social media pages. Whatever outward communications come from the restaurant, that is a version of hospitality. And so there is a lot of training and a lot of sort of coaching up that goes along with our franchisees.
Yeah.
And convincing them why it's so important to have a great tone, to have a great conversational style is, sometimes a big step to take, because a lot of our franchisees want to be, in the office, maybe overseeing the kitchen, looking over those things, making sure numbers are right. But our best franchisees are the ones that are very comfortable getting out and talking to the guests in and outside the four walls.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There is pretty significant choice in the restaurant industry, casual, fast casual. The wings and rings and sports bar style food offerings are they're pretty commonplace. But as mentioned, you guys are doing a great job in Cincinnati. You're positioning it a little differently. But people are inherently loyal. I know I probably like five, six brands. My wife hates it. I try to go out to places that that I don't want to go all the time to give her variety, especially when you travel. But choice and conversion is very important, right? So how do you get someone to choose you, and then why would they choose wings and rings, and then how do you get them to convert?
Yeah, I mean, telling the brand story, what we consider our unique features are is really important. We are in a, I think that you can view competition as a negative,
Yep.
or you can view competition as a positive, right? I view competition as a positive because it gives us something to compare ourselves to, right? What differentiates us, and what your differentiators are the story you have to tell. Wings and rings, all of our boneless chicken wings are cut from high quality chicken tenders. They're hand breaded, fried to order. Nothing sits in baskets. Nothing sits in a holding tray. Same goes for our sandwiches, our tenders. Everything's made to order, so you're getting the freshest possible product, and that is an experience that you're not going to have at the vast majority of our competitors, right? And telling that story is important. We think we have a pretty great loyalty program and an aggressive loyalty program. Um, you get a free starter at sign up with our loyalty program. You get $10 in rewards for every 100 you spend, which is pretty competitive compared to the bulk of our competitors. I think Chipotle. I think you have to spend about $165 to get a free burrito, which, I'm a Chipotle guy. I'm not complaining, but we can get you to rewards faster that feel faster. And we drop incentives all the time just for the heck of it, just to,
Right.
to keep our people engaged. Right. And that's important too, to have those things that come in for no reason other than you're a member of the loyalty program. Um, and I think that sets us apart significantly. We're a big believer in what we call my place service. So as soon as somebody walks in the door, treating them like, they're at your home or are a guest in your suite, you know, taking care of them as you would if they were sitting at your kitchen table. And so we think that experience is a little different to sort of the fun, organized chaos of some of our other competitors, right? We serve our food on really nice china. It's a really nice, comfortable, cleaner experience, I think, than you experience in a lot of our competitors. And it's
Okay.
still a great place, great way to take in a game. So
Well, I think that's interesting too. It gets back to that hospitality question, right? So
yeah,
you are looking to treat customers a little differently when it comes in finer china. So it's all part of that experience, which can bolster that, hospitality, but also if they're first timers, it can lead to that conversion, correct?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it's important, like to use that to your point earlier, that our franchisees and our service staffs in those restaurants are fully aware of the perks of our loyalty program, of the new food that's out, the flavor combinations, some of the seasonings, some of the
Yeah.
things that go into those, so they can tell that story at the table level. It's also important for us from a marketing standpoint. How are we telling that story at the table? So we're not always trusting or fully putting the pressure on the servers to do that for us. What's in our bev menu? What's in our napkin holders? What's what story are we telling on table tents? Those things all matter especially for those initial first time guests. What are the things we want them to walk away knowing? And what we communicate at the table level is essential.
Excellent. So, can you tell us a little bit more about the program? How long it's been in existence? The changes you made to it. What do you like about the program?
Yeah, the loyalty program's been in place for years now. Well before I arrived at Wings and Rings. For us, it's important to be selectively aggressive. We want to be. I mentioned, free starter at sign up. At $10 off the 100, you get the free dessert on your birthday. We drop rewards. We do incentive style games in the app that can get
Yep.
you bonus points. It's very, very, very important for us to provide real value for our loyalty members. And so that's been a huge focus for us, is making sure that value is always at the top of the industry when you compare us to other programs. Our loyalty customers typically spend roughly 7 to 8% more than our non-loyalty customers. And they're usually visiting 1 to 2 times more per year at minimum.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, it's a getting people into the loyalty program is massive. Our The other side of my marketing department, our national team, Lindsay and Jamie on my team have done a phenomenal job in really focusing on the national side of driving those results through our digital communication. And then on the local store side, we're constantly trying to incentivize our stores to do loyalty drives, contests within regions, contests within certain markets, who's raising their loyalty signups year over year, and giving prizes, doing those things because we want them to see the results. If we do these kinds of things and motivate them to have a huge year for loyalty signups, and then we can show them the next year how much their sales are up from loyalty customers, what those visits increase, that spend increase, then it does the work for us through data, where it's not just us preaching to the choir. We're able to show them in hard dollars how much they benefited. So that's been a massive focus for us this year.
That's awesome. We actually have a new person on our team. Used to run a kind of a interstate trucking company. He's a diehard wing guy, and I don't think I may have had wings a little bit. I don't know if I have. Just kind of
Okay.
but he talked about authenticity, and he was kind of rating them, and he's familiar with you guys. He loved them, so and he lives in
Great.
Indy. But what does authenticity mean to you and your brand? Is it the wings and how they're prepared? You mentioned that everything's fresh. What does authenticity mean?
Yeah, that's a big piece of it. Food quality and especially also portion size are a big deal for us. Um, we don't want anybody to leave Wings and Rings feeling like they got gypped, especially in today's day and age. Value is essential, and I think a lot of people think of value strictly as, strategic discounting and where are we able to give away $1 here to drive, and that's all important, right? You have to have
Yep.
those kinds of strategies, but being authentic for us is sort of thinking about what got us to love wings in the first place, and it's a big wing cooked fresh, and that also helps people walk away feeling like they got their money's worth. That's another piece of value, is making sure that like people think that their dollar was well spent. They got a good product. So if we're being authentic to ourselves, we're making sure wings stay big. We're making sure we're using a high quality product, that we are breading everything to order, and serving it with a smiling face. That's what Wings and Rings is.
Okay, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but customer loyalty is very important. The loyalty program is a big piece of that. The hospitality is very important. Everything that you're doing to, impact their choice and get them to convert, great jobs. But when you look at customer loyalty, how do you and Wings and Ring define customer loyalty, and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, we are from, the Cincinnati area is extremely loyal, and is extremely communal. And to us, loyalty is getting those community members back. If we have people doing our marketing for us, that's the ultimate sign of loyalty to me. If I'm on social media and if I see one of our stores posting about an event that took place, whether it's a music bingo or a fundraiser or something, and I see, a dozen people have shared it, people are commenting, people are interacting, that to me is the ultimate sign of loyalty. When you have people that are doing the work, of going out and finding your brand and helping you tell
Yep.
your story. And those are our most successful stores. And that's sort of a story I'm always preaching to our franchisees who are struggling to get the ball rolling with local store marketing, and is that loyalty is everything. If you have somebody that's willing to, like you said, you've got 5 6 brands you shuffle through, right? If you can become somebody's old reliable, get into the rotation for somebody, it's everything. They're gonna spend $1,000, maybe $1,000 a year at your store with their
Yep.
families. That's enormous, right? And so I show people these are highly engaged stores who have people that aren't just spending their money, but are going out and pushing the brand. They're preaching to other people why they should spend their money at those stores. And those friend recommendations, those neighbor recommendations, those mean more than any targeted ad, any email, any postcard in a mailbox could ever mean in terms of marketing. So that's the ultimate sign of loyalty, for us, and consequently, our stores that are doing the best job have those customers.
That's awesome. Heard a little bit about Pop-Up Tuesday. It's a great promotion program you guys are running. I understand it's driven and driving some really powerful results, both in sales and guest management. Can you tell us a little bit more about the promotion, kind of, and what the vision was, and maybe even what insights you gathered from the promotion?
Yeah, so every Tuesday, at our stores, we do 40% off our traditional and boneless wings. We've been doing that for a few months now, and it's been very successful for us. A couple of months ago, on National Wing Day, which happened to fall on a Tuesday this year, we thought a fun kicker, since that's, sort of our Super Bowl in the fall is National Wing Day. A fun way to sort of juice that up would be to give 40% off all varieties of our wings. For those of you who don't know, at Wings and Rings, we do traditional and boneless. We also do smoked wings. We also do southern fried wings, sort of more fried chicken inspired wing. And
Yep.
then we have cauliflower wings as well for our vegetarian and vegan friends. So we have 5 varieties of wings that we sell at the restaurant. We decided to do 40% off the entire run of those wings. Reason being, it's just a fun promotion. It gives people a chance to try new things. That's the big thing, is for those who walk into a restaurant and know what to expect with traditional boneless wings, but have been curious about smoked wings or curious about Southern fried wings. It might be the kick in the pants to try those things for the first time, since you're risking less money to give them a shot. You can throw on a 5-piece smoked wing with your usual 5 or 10-piece boneless wing and feel like everyone at the table is going to try one for the first time. And if you love them, then that's a huge win for us. We've earned a potential loyal customer who's trying one of our higher market item or higher ticket priced items, and
Yep.
potentially converting somebody from our more lower priced traditional wings to a higher priced smoked wing or a higher priced Southern fried wing. Massive opportunity for us to take those loyal customers and convert them from mid-ticket items to larger ticket items. It's also just gives us a great promotional touchstone. We're able to diversify and tell that story. So we did the first one on National Wing Day at the end of August. It was a huge success, or I think July, excuse me. We decided to do it again the Tuesday after Labor Day,
Okay.
because it was such a massive success, to see if we could carry, if it was just a Wing Day thing, or if we're able to extend that success. Another massive day for us. And so we've done that. We just did that for the third Tuesday. We're doing it once a month now, just a couple of weeks ago. And we were once again up 30% year over year across the system.
Okay.
The wing day was massive. For the wing day was an 80% year over year day.
Really? Okay.
For us, it was, Matt, we had over 15 stores in our system. We're up over 100% year over year.
Okay.
In sales, pure net sales. So it has been something that has not only driven actual sales and actual dollars for us, but anecdotally, we hear all the time now from our franchisees who are going around and touching tables that people are trying those higher priced items for the first time. They're trying new menu items and loving them. And they're seeing people come in on football days, on football Sundays, Thursdays, nights, saying, I was here for Tuesday and I tried the smoked wings and now I'm a believer. Tried the Southern fried wings and now I'm a believer. So it served a variety of uses for us and has been hugely successful.
Okay. When you look at employee engagement, employee loyalty, obviously that's very important, from the bartenders to the service staff to the cooks. Very important. Are employees trained or engaged with differently today to get them to understand maybe the customer loyalty program, or some of the things you talked about, surprise and delight, or just more from a service level to truly bolster the brand and that hospitality approach?
Yeah, we offer a variety of training tools throughout the system. Everything's available online through our online intranet system, but we emphasize wholly with our franchisees how important it is for hands-on training, and surprise and delight is absolutely a big part of what we try to preach. We have this system I mentioned earlier, My Place service, where we try to teach everybody to take care of your tables as you would, a visitor at your home. I think most restaurants probably have a version of it, but we want to allow as much freedom within the what makes sense for our brand, but to really take care of tables, to give them a chance to, if we have an LTO going, to drop samples of the new sauces at tables, and do those things that are really special and unique. Those are the things that stand out, and those are the
Yeah.
things that especially help build loyalty. For new customers, existing customers, those little surprise and delight touches are everything, and we preach it across our system all the time.
And there's a big push right now for value. It can be in food product, it can be in making sure that the organization has value in the program. But many consumers are value focused right now. They want their brand to do a little bit more for them, right? Discount or offering, can we use points for different things? So, how do you look at value, and maybe when you look at customers and promotions that are more value driven versus those who could be more driven by the experience and connections, not just discounts. How do you balance the two of those?
Yeah, it's super important. I don't think there's any you know magic answer. I think every system is different. Every restaurant brand is different with how they're going to match that balance, or how strike that balance. For us, we obviously want to offer as many financially affordable options as possible for our franchisees, because I mean, let's face it, value, when you say the word, price is the first thing that comes to mind for a
Right,
lot
right,
of
right.
people. It's at least the conscious thing that you're choosing. So those things like the pop-up Tuesdays, you mentioned the 40% off wings. We kids eat free on Mondays at all of our restaurants. That's something that's we've been doing for years, even before sort of the value takeover over the last 2 years or so. Um, we have a phenomenal lunch program. We have a menu full of, depending on where you are in the country, $9.99 or $10.99 lunch combos every weekday, from 11 to 2, which is a price point that's fast food has a tough time competing with
Yeah,
anymore.
absolutely.
And so that's and it's not just a couple things. It's 11 to 12 different lunch menu item or lunch combos that includes entree and a side. So we've got daily value in place that we just have to constantly work on educating our customers on. And then that once we get people into the restaurant, I always can't emphasize enough how to our restaurant teams how important it is to get people into the loyalty program. We still, I think roughly 15% of our diners are every day are loyalty members. So there's still a ton of room to get
Yeah.
people into that loyalty program, and turn them into bigger spenders and more frequent visitors. So utilizing value price wise to get people in, and then showing them the value of the experience, and then getting them into the loyalty program for continued value that's on your mind, in your inbox, on your phone, all those things.
That makes
That's
sense.
how we think
Excellent.
about it. Yeah.
And partnerships, I know you guys have a couple. Partnerships are pretty important right now for brands. It's usually a top four or top five in our yearly survey on trends. But when you look at partnerships, I know you have one with iHeartRadio. Bengals postgame show, not a Bengals fan, always Broncos, go Bo Nix, but that's a whole different discussion. Your partnership with iHeartRadio and the Bengals postgame show, what's that partnership mean to you, and how are you looking at partnerships more generally?
Yeah, I think we are obviously a sports bar brand, so sports partnerships have to be sort of a formula for part of the formula for our success. We also have a partnership with the Cincinnati Reds. We have a partnership with the University of Cincinnati Bearcats. We have
Okay.
presence in both of those. Both of those are in the basketball and football stadium and arena at UC. Where we have a dining space and a restaurant space in Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. So those are important, but for sure, and a big part of what we do. The iHeartRadio sponsorship is new this year, sponsoring the Bengals postgame show. Um, uh, People still listen to Bengals games on the radio. Is still the number one way that those games are consumed, at least on either side of the game. So before pregame and postgame, most people are watching the game on TV, and then they're either traveling to the game or to a friend's house or back afterwards. So the radio is really where you can win those people that are traveling to and from the experience. And sometimes they're traveling to and from our restaurants watching the games, which is great. So
Yeah.
we want to be able to reach them pre and post game. And then throughout the week, we get imaging as well on those radio stations. The big thing for our stores, in addition to that, just general brand awareness, with a target demo, sports fans obviously being a huge demographic for us. The post game show rotates and is hosted live at Wings and Rings locations throughout the greater Cincinnati area.
Okay.
And so those stores that have hosted, we're on week 7 of the NFL season. So I think we've hosted either 5 or 6 post game shows so far this year at our stores. Every store that has hosted a post game show has been up on day of year over year sales and week of year over year
Wow.
sales. At least 5%. Some stores up as much as 15 to 20%. And so I'm able to show, not only do we have that connection with sports fans, we're building that brand identity, reinforcing that brand identity that I think we've already cultivated over the years, but I can show in real time data how our stores are benefiting from a sales perspective. And so if it feels good and the data supports it, it's a win-win for us. And it's been we've really happy with the partnership so far.
That's awesome. And last question, what can Loyalty360 do to help you and your team with your customer loyalty efforts?
I mean, we're always looking to find new ways to drive loyalty. The biggest thing for us, I think I mentioned earlier, 15% of our diners are done, and that's a phenomenal number for the industry. That still means 85% of our diners aren't loyalty members. So the biggest thing for us is trying to find ways to easily convert those diners that aren't in our loyalty program
Yep.
to loyalty signups. The finding the right way to communicate the benefits of our loyalty program, finding seamless ways to get them into the loyalty program. I mean, my girlfriend is not a loyalty signer upper. Just
Okay.
she doesn't like going through that process with places. It takes too much time, right? So like finding a way to quickly get somebody engaged and communicate that value up front. That's our biggest challenge and sort of the white whale we're always chasing.
Okay. Yeah, it's an interesting challenge. I know we have a lot of case studies on the site about that, but and the community talks about that a lot. People, you got to make it easy, right? And I think that can be
Yeah,
a big challenge too. It can be a little bit onerous if you're doing it at the point of sale too. So I think the key is
absolutely.
simplicity, getting them to give you a little bit, and then and some incentive. We mentioned you give them something to sign up, and because obviously the value of that contact, so you can get more behavioral data, maybe demographical data, is just very advantageous for you and your brand for sure.
For sure.
Perfect. Well, Dan, thank you very much for taking time to speak with us today. It was quite interesting to hear more about you and also, some things that you've been doing in Wings and Rings over the last, couple of years since we spoke with your team. So thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Really appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone for joining us. Make sure you join us every Thursday in our Leaders in Customer Loyalty series. And until then, have a wonderful day.